Very good evening, popular astronomers, or good morning, or good morrow, or good yesterday, depending on what you are when you are watching this. It is Popastro Live, the weekly chat show for the Society for Popular Astronomy. Yeah! Do you like my new wallpaper? I got some new wallpaper. After months of doing this show with various calamities of furniture and backdrops behind me, I finally upped my game. I'm very excited, but I'm going to leave it to you to try and figure out what is wrong with this. You might just be able to catch some glimpses of the travesties on it. And as to why it was cheap on Amazon, feel free to comment and guess what's wrong with it. Somebody never passed their astronomy GCSE to make this backdrop. So I hope you are having a fantastic time. I climbed yesterday the third mountain of my life, so I'm still feeling quite elated. So let's start with the comments. Good evening. I think Paulina should get the badge for most episodes of this watched and the nicest comments. Thank you for your ongoing support. Hello, Madeline. Yes, there she is. Lady Cat Eyes. She's always in the middle of the road, our Madeline Dunn is. Ian Baker, very loyal supporter. Thank you so much, Ian. And hello from Arizona. Now, when would it have been? Oh my gosh, 8 or 9 years ago. Space Fest, when I stayed at the Star Pass Resort, let a scorpion into the bedroom. That was my highlight. And I also hosted Brian Cox, Carolyn Porco, and an Apollo panel onto stage because I volunteered to be the compere. Definitely the most cosmic thing I've ever done, except this, of course. It's great to see you all. We have got astronomers on standby to answer your questions. We have got guests coming up in a minute who I shall run you through in a moment. First of all, though, plug the mug, plug the mug, plug the mug, plug the mug, plug that mug. Great mug available from the SPA shop. And what's in it this week? Really musty water out of the tap in here that obviously hasn't been used for a long time. But before I used it for water, I had these things in it. I got a parcel from our second guest this evening, Alice Sheppard, and it was full of great little space sticker. Great way to ruin your computer. Stick space stickers all over it. And then these things are really cool. Unfortunately, I can't show you what they are like to wear. They're like spectroscopy glasses. They don't work on the camera, but they are, well, actually, no, they're rainbow glasses. I thought these were spectroscopy glasses, but you put them on and whoa, it is like everything turns into a rainbow. Take it from me. So that is what was in the mug. The former contents of the mug. So if you want some decent SPA merch, go to our shop at popastro.com. I feel naked. Guess what? I'm not wearing a space shirt tonight. They're all in the wash and I've repeated them all. And because I'm going on to see some friends later, I fancied something a little bit more pretty. So this is, lipstick on it. But I've got this. I have dug this out. It's my scarf from many years ago that I got at a Widnes Steam Fair when I went with my dad. So it has got owls and the like on it. Could use that for a backdrop, maybe. Owls and stars. Is that cosmic enough for you? But it's too warm for me to be wearing it in here. But know that cosmic garments are not very far away from me at all times. So please start sharing this video. Please start commenting on it as well. It is your society. So we want chat, banter, questions in the chat room. Please start making friends, friend each other on Facebook. Often these Facebook friendships become real life friendships. And that is just so excellent to make lots of new cosmic friends. So this week we have got space lyrics coming up. What have you seen in the sky this week? And for every share of this video, a new comet is tickled in the Oort cloud and sets sail for the skies of Earth. And I have that as a personal guarantee. So yeah, share this video now. Everybody watching, please hit share so you can spread the word of the society amongst tens of thousands of your friends. It's just wonderful. Thank you. Please help us proliferate because like all societies, we need as many members as we can get. And if you aren't a member, you can become a member for £23 a year. And did I bring the magazine? Did I? Eckers like, I didn't carry the magazine down with me. I'm actually in a laundrette, but don't tell anybody. Okay, so tonight, our special guest, we have got 3 guests for you. Mike Simmons, founder of Astronomers Without Borders. This is a US-based organization, so he might actually be our first US guest, actually, at least our first American based in America. It's an organization dedicated to spreading astronomy throughout the world and connecting people through this wonderful universal interest. Then we've got Alice Sheppard, close personal friend of mine, the SPA's Citizen Science Officer. She's going to be talking about some citizen science projects, including Orbyts, which is original research by Young Twinkle Scientists. I'm a twinkle scientist, I twinkle. It sends physics and astronomy PhD students into secondary schools with citizen science projects that will involve the pupils. And headlining tonight, Stuart Clark, author and Astrofest host, on his new book, Beneath the Night, How the Stars Have Shaped the History of Humankind. And I noted with interest that one of the chapters is called The Invention of Heaven. Who invented heaven? So please tell us what you saw in the sky this week. We had a spectacular harvest moon last night. I saw it as I was driving away from Snowdonia back to Anglesey. It rose over Snowdonia behind us. Now, the full moon nearest the autumn equinox is known as the harvest moon and was probably coined by farmers in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's so cool because it gave the farm workers precious extra hours to go to their local harvester restaurant and also probably to harvest crops. So our first guest this evening is Mike Simmons, founder of Astronomers Without Borders. Let's just grab him on. I know he's just had a bit of a shock because I don't think he thought this was a video call. So hopefully he's brushed his hair, brushed his teeth and had a quick shave. You're coming on in 3, 2, 1, Mike. Hiya. Oh no. Can't hear you. You're on mute.
I was muted. I do that a lot. Sorry about that.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, for some reason, I guess I mixed you up with another podcast or something. But no, I did myself beautify myself, did my best. But it doesn't matter. Hopefully, people will be distracted by the great conversation. Right, Vicky?
That is so exciting. Yes. So whereabouts are you in America this evening?
I'm in Southern California. I live out in the hills outside of Los Angeles area, in fire territory. And yeah, it's a nice hot week this week. We hit over 40 already. Yeah. So, but you know, it's happening a little more now than before, but we manage.
Well, please stay very safe. You must feel like you've got threats coming at you from all angles at the minute.
Yeah, this year has been a little bit of a challenge, but I know that's true for you guys as well. So just about everybody.
I think that for me, the best thing that's come out of lockdown is kind of figuring out how to become a live broadcaster and starting this show. So every cloud has got a silver lining, unless you're an astronomer. Yeah. In my case, usually all clouds are bad.
Yeah, well, all clouds of that kind are bad, but you know, that's one of the things. I've been working with people around the world for many, many years now, and it's all online, and I've been working remotely for decades, and people are just now discovering that online actually works pretty well. You know, they're surprised that they have more people attending a conference than they used to, but that's because nobody, you know, most people in the world can't afford several $1,000s to fly halfway around the world to attend something in person. So finally, we're forcing people into the 21st century.
That's actually a very valid reason, because exactly this time last year, I was at the UK Space Conference, which is held every 2 years, and the ticket price was tremendous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never really thought of that. It removes the cost barrier, which is great bit of marketing, which I will store in my head for my future marketing campaigns. Thank you.
It is far more inclusive, and people are talking about, well, we ought to add it to the in-person things. You know, really, just don't add it. Just do it. You know, it's better. And you know, as you mentioned, Astronomers Without Borders, but I've been doing global astronomy events since the International Year of Astronomy. And organizing people around the world, and you know, this doesn't happen in person. So right. SBA is fantastic, of course, and I've been an amateur astronomer for just about 50 years and ran LA Astronomical Society and founded the Mount Wilson Observatory Association for support there, and a lot of different things in organizing things for astronomy. And astronomy is everywhere. It's in every country. I mean, it's just people say, well, I'm going to Uganda. Can you introduce me to astronomers there? Yes, I can. Very, very active in Nigeria, Iran, which I go to a lot, Iraq, which I've been to a couple of times. I know people in Syria and Libya. Wars don't even stop them. So everywhere there is astronomy, and that's the work that I do is based on all of that.
Good work. So tell us a little bit more. I'm going to put your full screen now, Mike. So
Okay.
I'm disappearing. The cat spotlight is going to be on you. And first of all, could you tell us what is Astronomers Without Borders? Because actually, I didn't really know much about it, but I think it was one of our previous guests, Steve Tonkin, who introduced us to each other. You probably know Steve, don't you?
I know Steve. Yeah. I've known Steve for quite a while. Yeah, and he's writing for, quick plug, Astro Gear Today, which is a website that we have started. I left Astronomers Without Borders earlier this year after being on it for a really long time, and I have lots of other projects, and I'm just crazy busy, but that's just the way I mess up my life most of the time. So so nonprofits and for-profits, and Steve has been a great contributor to that. And we're glad to have him coming from the UK because, for the United States especially, maybe it's the same thing with the UK, international. I mean, here international means that you're dealing with Canada or the UK, and that's why I use the term global with the things I do. Fully inclusive, include everybody everywhere.
Yes. Excellent. Okay, so let's chat about Astronomers Without Borders, please, Mike. Off we go.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, do you want me to show any pictures? I can also share my screen and show a few things if you want me to.
Now, I've spent a lot of time on to technical help this week for this software about figuring out the screen share. So if you can make screen share work, I'm going to be very happy. So please have a go.
Well, okay. So I'm not used to StreamYard. So let's see. I do this all the time on, and I'll just give people an idea. So let's see. I'm trying to get the thing where I can see it, your entire screen. No, I don't want to show the entire screen. The application window. That's interesting. Okay, let's try this. And this is a few of the things. Is that working?
But my computer will not do this, but here we go. Okay, it's obviously a fault with my computer. I'm going to share the screen and then it's over to you. Oh, look at that. Great.
Okay, so well, then let me share a few. This is not, I'm not going into presentation mode, so you see all sorts of other stuff here. I just wanted to pick out a few things that I just presented somewhere else. And so it's kind of selected for that, but it's about astronomy in unusual places. And eclipses is how I really got into global astronomy. This is a picture of an eclipse taken over Great Wall of China at the western end of it, heading out into the Gobi Desert. And eclipses get us to go to all kinds of different places and share astronomy with other people. Well, the species of all kinds. There's a friend of mine in Antarctica. And so one of the places that I've been to quite a bit is Iran. And I won't go through everything I got here, but this was the eclipse in Iran in 1999. And, you know, everything was different than I'd heard. So this was, I realized later, this is an educational observatory in northern Tehran. There's only one boy. It's all young women. And that's what astronomy is there. Unlike in the US and perhaps in the UK, Vicky, you're a wonderful exception because you're such a dynamic personality, will bring more people in, but it's mostly us old white guys, you know, and like, it's boring. So they do astronomy just like we do. They do outreach. They do big events like Astronomy Day. They're very innovative with all the different things that they do. And they love Americans, which, you know, it's something that Americans don't realize. So I use astronomy to show the unexpected. This is actually Parsi Cola here with Mickey Mouse, not Pepsi Cola, but this is out almost into Afghanistan and just in the middle of nowhere practically. And, you know, I've been to, some of these are out of order, so sorry, I wasn't sure exactly what I do. Here's an astronomy club in northern Iraq and Kurdistan. They didn't have any big telescopes. I mean, one of these two has a cracked lens, so they didn't really thank you, Pauline. I love the comments. I'm used to talking in front of a crowd, so being online is a challenge. It's because, like, does anybody care? And I brought him an 8-inch. I brought him 200 kilograms of stuff, and that was donated or sold really cheap in their head. This is one of my favorite pictures because they're wearing the 3D glasses. They have the big binoculars. They have a camera, and the H alpha telescope here. When I looked at this later, I realized, well, I saw a lot of people in that stance, but they were mostly holding AK-47 machine guns, not solar telescopes. So, and later in 100 Hours of Astronomy, this telescope I brought was used there for outreach. And they are just as passionate as anybody else. And the reactions are the same kinds of things. Afghanistan. I know people doing astronomy in Afghanistan, and here's a girls' school. They're handing the things out, and I like this because this was a Venus transit in 2012, and glasses were acquired, and there are 2 U.S. soldiers with the Afghani soldiers, and they created a book in their language, and this is the kind of thing people look at this and they say, oh, these must be Al-Qaeda. These are just regular people. This is the dean of a school and teachers and so on. They dress different, but they're exactly the same as us. Ethiopia is another place. They just launched a satellite. They have a tremendous amount of astronomy and space science going on. They do star parties. They have 1-meter telescopes. So I'm just blabbing and going through this stuff. Okay, now check this out, because this is one of my favorites. Nigeria. This is a shipping container. It's a refugee camp, and it's IDP, internally displaced people. They've been displaced by Boko Haram. They got real gender equality issues there when there are people that raid towns and take young women as sex slaves. That's bad. But this is women mostly from the space agency or scientists who do these things. This is inside of that shipping container. They've done a STEM center for them, and these are some of the kids. A picture like this, I just sort of feel like I need to shut up. I mean,
that is amazing.
It says so much. And they also do astronomy camps for girls to show them that they can, here's some of that they can be scientists too, because they don't even realize it. And more. So I'm going to stop my screen share.
Wow. I was riveted to those pictures. They were just, like you say, it's usually there's a certain type of astronomer in the UK, and it was nice to see some diversity in astronomy there. Yeah.
And the thing is, the diversity is of all kinds. I mean, the plans I'm working on now sort of build on what I've done in Astronomers Without Borders, using astronomy for equity in general. And diversity can be geopolitical, but along with it, I mean, I was planning on going to Nigeria this year, and the pandemic made that impossible. But I said, will I go to places where people have never seen a white person? And she said, yeah, if we get out into the small towns, they might never have seen a white person before.
Gosh, I read today actually that they reckon there's about in Amazonia and New Guinea, is it? They reckon there might be 100 or so uncontacted tribes. That was mind-boggling.
Yes. But you know what? I'll tell you what, astronomy has been in every culture throughout time. And it still is. And I can pretty much guarantee you, if they contact one of those tribes, they will have some sort of cultural lore and stories and use of the stars, because everybody does. It's half of our environment. Nighttime is half of our time. The sky is half of what we see. Yeah. So it is everywhere. It's in all of our all of our art in many different ways. I know astronauts who are also artists. And it's just different ways of seeing the night sky that they will, or seeing science in general. And we have done, and I plan to continue this, some programs having to do with astronomy for STEM education. Is like the gateway to science, because everybody has, thank you, Steve, and everybody has the lab for astronomy. It's above us. And people in some of the places I showed you there, they don't have electricity or don't have much of it. So I think it's over which shoulder is that? My left shoulder there. And that's a Wally Paholka picture. And you've probably all seen these pictures of the Milky Way and so on. And, when you look at them, they are, the pictures are the same. They're in different places. If there are people, there are different people. But just overall, we share the same sky. We're looking at the same things. The 100 Hours of Astronomy Cornerstone Project in the International Year of Astronomy was a big thing. We had probably 1 million people look through telescopes in one night all around the world. That's what the amateurs do, and that's what they wanted to do. So it was a huge event, but it's made possible by the fact they're passionate amateur astronomers and astronomy enthusiasts everywhere. And I've been to places. Sherry loves the penguins. I love that shot. I mean, it's so good. Thank you for the comments. I've been to places where there's an amateur astronomy club doing public outreach, but they don't have a telescope. They're making posters. They're telling people about it. It's like John Dobson said to me once, the first time he looked through a telescope, he said, well, everybody's got to see this. And then he devoted his life to exactly that. So it is everywhere, and it can be used. The IU does a great job with the Office of Astronomy for Development. Now education, Office of Astronomy Education, and so many different things, but it's underused. Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that you've got a partnership with Celestron?
Well, Astronomers Without Borders has been very much supported by Celestron. It's been fantastic, and so I want to make it clear I'm not with AWB now, but I created it and ran it until earlier this year. They have made available a telescope, which in the UK as the Skywatcher Heritage 130. It's a tabletop 5-inch collapsible telescope that's very easy to use, fantastic for beginners. Somehow never really caught on that much, and it wasn't available in the US. So they said, well, how about, they wanted to support us. And I'd known the people at Celestron for a long time and worked with them. And they started providing it. They provide the telescope at their cost. That's not wholesale. That's their cost. And they're not even counting the labor that goes into it. They order them, they bring them in, they warehouse them, they ship them. And after they've shipped one, they invoice the organization. That's after the money's been collected. So there's no upfront costs or anything. So Celestron is extraordinarily supportive of the things that happen in astronomy everywhere.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I can tell from the comments from our viewers that everybody is mighty impressed with what you do. So how would we get involved in any of these projects?
Well, Astronomers Without Borders is astronomerswithoutborders.org. For me, I have some new things coming up that are based partly on the space community. It's going to combine astronauts and space business and everything. And the overview effect, something coined by Frank White.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Moon Village, is it?
Pardon me?
Moon Village Association?
Don't know that, but there is the Overview Institute, which I'm a founding member of, and I'm talking with those people quite a lot. And it's about showing how we're all on the same planet. And, everybody during this pandemic says, we're all in this together. And they're doing it separately. I mean, nobody acts like it. Bob, that's a great comment. Thank you so much. It's really not doing a lot with little. There's a lot out there, but the resource isn't money. The 100 Hours of Astronomy Star Party would cost millions of dollars to do. We did it on a budget of like $30,000.
Well done.
And that's because the resource is the people out there, the people watching this program, and the people that belong to SPA, and especially the people that join, pay your dues, and support things like this, because these people make a big difference.
Mike, this has been the most wonderful pleasure. Hopefully we can have you on to elaborate. I think we could have a whole Mike Simmons show. You can take the whole hour one time, but for now we're going to say goodbye, let you go back to doing whatever you were doing. And thank you so much for uniting the world with our favorite hobby. Let's face it, astronomy is the best hobby.
It is. It is. It's the most popular in sciences. I mean, I haven't run into any amateur nuclear physics clubs. I mean, there are some, but
wow.
you know,
Make a mess of that.
Well, it's maybe not a good idea.
Plutonium club.
Yeah, but it really is a unique science. And look at citizen science now and everything. So I'd be glad to come back. I can talk for 6 hours or whatever.
I'm sure you can.
I'm hard to shut up.
We've got the SPA Citizen Science Officer, Alice, on next, so feel free to stay tuned. And in the meanwhile, it's been an absolute pleasure, Mike. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me, Vicky. And thank you for everybody for the comments and so on.
And thank you, Mr. Tonkin, for uniting myself and Mike.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, that was so exciting. Those pictures and the collaborations. And like I say, I mean, I've been institutionalized by 30 years of astronomy in the UK, thinking there's only a certain type of astronomer, but there blatantly is not. And I think I need more of that in my life. So have a quick Google of Astronomers Without Borders and get involved in seemingly one of the most worthwhile projects I've ever encountered. Love it, love it, love it. Right, okay, so we are now going to go on to Guess the Space Lyric. New little feature, thought I'd give it a test. Tell me in the comments, there is absolutely no prize for this whatsoever other than the shining glory of the SPA community worshipping at your feet for at least 3 seconds. So what song could this be? And it's actually quite relevant. Come a little bit closer. Hear what I have to say. Just like children sleeping, we could dream this night away. But there's a full moon rising. Let's go dancing in the light. Oh, it makes me cry a bit, actually. We know where the music's playing. Let's go out and feel the night. Because I'm still in love with you. I want to see you dance again. There you go. What could that be? That's a cracking song, actually. I've been listening to it multiple times today and yesterday. And there's your clue. There's your clue. Right, we are going over. Thank you for the comments. That was great, Vicky. And well done, Mike. Great, Mike. Let's hear some more sometime. Big time, yeah. Thank you, very much, everybody. Amateur Nuclear Physics Club. Now, let's start a petition for Alice. We'll start a breakaway. And I'm coming to you, Alice, in about 3, 2, 1. Here she comes. It's
Hello.
Alice. Hi, Alice.
Hi, Vicky. You're on
Thank
for my seat, smiling away.
I always smile, I think. Yeah.
I noticed. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I love your new hair and new glasses. Very swish.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Very good. Very good, Alice. So what have you been up to recently then?
Oh, a lot of paperwork. In fact, it's some paperwork for exactly what I'm going to be mostly talking about tonight, the Orbyts project.
Talking about paperwork and filing. Feel free to talk about your favourite ring binder.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Google
Sheets, Google Drive, OneDrive.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So, Alice, you are the Citizen Science Officer. You've been writing the SPA column for a number of years now. You got into citizen science with Galaxy Zoo in 2007. So you learned some astronomical news recently. What was that all about?
Oh, I wouldn't say it was astronomical news, but I had the most wonderful conversation with a friend last night. She's from China, and she and I both study Finnish in the evenings. She studies Finnish because she's learning translation. I study Finnish because my husband is Finnish.
Yeah.
We get talking about all kinds of things, including astronomy, and she's been telling me some wonderful Chinese traditions to do with the moon. For example, school children often get poems about the moon and they're asked to guess what phase the moon is in. They're supposed to infer it from the time of night. For example, if it's towards dawn, you're probably going to see the quarter moon that we generally don't see. Gosh, I've actually forgotten what that moon is called, so boot me out of SPA right now. Anyway, what she told me reminds me very much of what Mike Simmons said. Last night was called the Mid-Autumn Festival in China. I couldn't possibly tell you the real name. The idea in general is it's the 15th day of the 8th lunar month, and on the 15th day the moon is full. The 1st and 30th days it's going to be a new moon. Roundabout now it's a time to get friends and family together, but for people who cannot do this, for people who've got friends and family thousands of miles away, they all go and look at the moon because they've shared that same experience. It means that they can sort of say hello to each other that way. So I thought that was the most beautiful tradition. We all ought to know about it. And yeah, anyone who looks at the moon tonight, hello.
Oh, great, Alice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful news. I'm just so yeah, have you looked at the moon tonight? Have you seen it?
Nah, raining all day and I was just gaming. But I'll take a look when I go out in a minute. I've got to buy some milk.
Very good, very good. And so now currently then, tell us about your two different jobs at UCL then.
Oh, well, the first one I got about 4.5 years ago. It's in the Extreme Citizen Science Research Group, and it's amazing. I've done a little bit of astronomy. The other one is a bit newer, and I want to talk more about it. Actually, I have to thank the SPA for this job. Because of my citizen science column, I'm always running around looking for more citizen science projects to write about. So yeah, if anyone has one that they'd like me to write about, please put it in the Facebook comments. I owe Robin another column as ever in a few days. So about 1.5 years ago, I approached William Dunn at UCL about a project called Orbyts, spelt with a Y instead of an I, and it stands for Original Research by Young Twinkle Scientists. It's from the Twinkle mission, and it's taking science into schools, not just outreach, but this is actually citizen science for school children. It's matching them up with researchers. They do processing data of wonderful things like exoplanets or molecular spectroscopy, auroras on Jupiter, and recently with Osnat, who's on the SPA Council, one school has been doing an astronomical history project, which I think is the most amazing thing. So I interviewed William about it. His department and mine had done a tiny bit of collaboration a year or so earlier, and he said, well, would you like to join it? And I said, well, I'm not a PhD student. I haven't got any science to take into schools, but well, yeah, I'd be happy to help out. So now I go along in with one of the other PhD students, and also I'm the admin person. So yeah, I now have another job at UCL thanks to SPA. So excellent. Bring those projects on.
That is, I think, a really good example of how volunteering for something like this and getting involved just opens so many doors. It's fundamental to an astronomy career, I think, something like this is. Don't you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And volunteering for the society, there are so many little roles that you can do. I mean, I invented this job for myself. I didn't know this existed 6 months ago, but here I am honing my live broadcasting skills, broadcasting to an audience, getting my face known, my smile on camera, and meeting lots of cool people who there's no way where I would be meeting otherwise.
Yep.
So Alice, then tell us a little bit more about what Orbyts actually do then.
It's such a brilliant idea. It was invented a few years ago by various people who've gone through UCL's physics or planetary science departments. So I couldn't tell you all that much about the science that everyone's doing because, to be honest, I know more about their paperwork. But what I can tell you is that I've been working with a PhD student called Apurva. He's a fantastic person, and he is studying oxygen in the atmospheres of exoplanets. Now, the thing with spectroscopy, he's using spectroscopy, of course, the way light moves through atoms or molecules and the patterns that come from that light reveals what they are. It's not just visible light where it's useful. if you've seen any spectroscopy, it's probably going to be visible light. But there's also, when you've got molecules, you've got rotation and vibration where bonds sort of stretch and squeeze. Now, you can imagine that makes millions of spectral lines. Millions. We don't know them all. We do experiments to try and find them, but then these aren't always put into a central database. So Apoorva's looking for as many known lines as possible so that he can program them into a sort of collaboration called Marvel. I'm going to leave you all to Google that. I'll put it in the comments later. And that'll help him find oxygen in exoplanet atmospheres. He enlisted lots of school children, GCSE students, A-level students, to help him go through loads of scientific literature papers, find examples of rotating or vibrating oxygen and any reports on that, any spectral lines that were generated. They learned how to program this in, so they learned a bit of programming. They learned lots of physics. They wouldn't be learning this at school normally. They seemed to really enjoy it. We were afraid it would just be sort of very dull, laborious work, but those kids have been fantastic. So big thanks to them.
Thanks, Alice. How do we get our schools involved then? Because I would, if I'd bothered to have children, I would very much want my child to be involved in this.
Well, I'll put the website in the comments. I'm going to put lots of things in the comments. You can Google Orbyts Twinkle Mission and you will find it. If you're a kid or a parent and you want it, then tell your schools. And if you're a school and you want it, Google that. And yeah, write to William at UCL. Get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with him. He's always looking for more schools to get involved.
Oh, okay. Christopher Sharp says, that is exactly my area of professional work, having calculated atomic and molecular lines. I think you need to get involved with Paul's project then.
Oh, yeah.
Alice, do you have anything? Right. Thank you so much. Thank you for did I post you these out and did you post me them back?
Oh my God, did I do that by accident? I thought someone else posted me them. So I do apologize, Vicky. Yes, send them back to me.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But you sent me the rainbow glasses. I'm sure I sent you mass spec. Did I send you spectroscopy glasses?
I don't recall this. It was a friend called Matt who gave me those. So I know that I didn't accidentally post those back to them. Oh, yeah, I bet you're seeing a lot of lines.
Yeah, well, I've got a big ring light in front of me, my broadcasting light. So these are the rainbow glasses, but I'm sure I sent you spectroscopy little glasses. And
you've sent me lots of random bits. But Vicky, put those glasses right in front of your webcam. I want to see what it looks like.
I don't think it does very much. They just look dirty.
Oh, I was hoping that maybe the audience could see what you're seeing.
Oh, hang on a minute. Let me try it with my torch. I know I sent you something that I regret sending you now, Alice. I sent you a beach ball. I sent you a beach ball that had the CMB cosmic microwave background on it.
You can have that back if you want it.
No, it's okay. It's fine. It will just blow away on angle seat. Right, I'm going to switch. Got this in front. Let's. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think these are rainbow glasses.
Yeah.
So that's actually really cool.
So what we've learned from tonight is never send me stuff because I might forget who sent it and send it back to you thinking that, oh my God, you'll really enjoy that. But yeah, do write to me with astronomy projects, especially citizen science.
Okay, so Anne Dempsey says, late, I missed you, Alice. Sorry, here now. We'll rewatch later. That's a great thing.
Hey, Anne. Lovely to see you.
Rewinders. Alice, it's been a pleasure. Catch you soon. Keep up the amazing work for the SPA, and I hope
I will.
It continues to open up many, many doors for you. Oh, Paulina wants the rainbow glasses. Send me your address on a DM, Paulina, and they're coming out to you because we're very much in the process of decluttering at the moment. So, all right, Alice, see you later.
Bye.
Bye, Alice. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Great. Always lovely to see Alice. Right. I've got some SPA news for you now. If you are a member of the SPA, you will have received a newsletter. It's about the Dark Energy Survey book launch on Tuesday, the 13th of October. SPA members have been invited to attend an online book launch by the Dark Energy Survey, which saw first light in 2012 and completed observations in 2019 with the help of hundreds of experts from all over the globe. So the book launch is online and it's taking place on October the 13th at 3 p.m. The editors and contributors of this title will discuss the results and processes behind this project, and we'll be joined by special guest Lord Martin Rees, the Astronomer Royal. I've also heard that there is a raffle and you will win a handbag full of dark energy if you are the winner. That is not strictly speaking true. Okay, great. Now we are going over to our third and final guest. Time just flies away when I do this thing. I maybe should start thinking about making it an hour and a half, because an hour doesn't seem to be long enough to fit in all the fun and all the comments. So we have got Stuart Clark. He is an astronomer and award-winning science writer for The Guardian, New Scientist, BBC Focus, and many other publications. He is writer and presenter of Music of the Spheres for Radio 3, and his latest book, Beneath the Night, How Stars Have Shaped the History of Humankind, has been published this week to immediate critical acclaim. That is some CV. I don't think I could even put one of those things on my CV. The bookseller made it editor's choice for October and described it as an enthralling, stargazing history of humanity. And now, of course, the pinnacle of his entire career is appearing as a guest on Popastro Live in 3, 2, 1. Stuart!
Hello. I feel as if I've made it. I'm here.
You have made it. Yeah, I don't just have any old astronomer on this thing.
That's for sure. How are you?
I'm really good. We've been, I've mildly pestered you on Twitter over the years, so it's good to full frontal pester you.
I'm totally up for it.
Good. Pester. My Facebook bio is Astronomer Botherer Royal. I do not let those astronomers go once I get my teeth into them.
Quite right.
This is just Popastro Live is just a front for my astronomer bothering.
I think you take it to art form. You should be very proud.
I do. And so, whereabouts are you tonight, Stuart?
So I'm at home in my messy study. And I'm just in Hertfordshire, just outside London. So, yeah, and it's raining, so there are no stars to see tonight.
Oh, so Jerry says, hi, Stuart, good to see you.
Jerry,
long time no see.
It is, yes. It's nice to see you virtually like this.
I think Jerry is trying to steal my crown as Astronomer Botherer Royal, actually, because he seems to know everybody.
Jerry and I go back a very, very long way.
Oh, that's nice. That's so nice. So, where do you know Jerry from then?
We know each other from a very long time ago when we hooked up as Star Trek fans.
Very good. Very good. Who's your favorite captain?
Oh, Captain Kirk.
Okay, very good. Okay, so now you've
time's up now, isn't it, Vicky? I can tell.
So tell us a little bit more about your book. Have you got a copy of it there? You did send me the PDF, but it's not the same, is it?
Here it is.
Oh, pretty cover.
Yeah, very. Let's see if we can get that on there. There we go.
Full screen. Hang on. Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very pleased with it. I'm really, super thrilled. The publisher Faber have just been utterly fantastic about it, and everyone there just got the concept right from the word go. And it started out as me wondering, why am I so fascinated by the stars? What is it about this that just gripped me? Has gripped me for all my life and just won't let me go. And so I started to look for instances of other people's descriptions about their interest in the stars and the night sky. And I just found more and more and more examples of this throughout written history. And then beyond, once you run out of written records, you can still find the evidence of people's fascination with the night sky. And so it evolved into this book about the history of our association with the night sky and how that's changed over the millennia and continues to change today.
I just think there's so many astronomer friends of mine who would really appreciate that as a Christmas present.
So do I. Good
Yeah,
one. Yes.
Every astronomer I've ever met wants that for Christmas. How's that for a plug? Thank you, Faber.
Oh, thank you.
Well, what on earth made you? Well, sorry, go on.
No, please carry on.
I was going to say, what on earth and in the heavens above made you want to tackle such a vast project? Because I wrote an 80-page ebook over summer and it nearly killed me. And it was about one little thing. So kudos for churning out a 300-page book.
Thank you. Yeah, there was a moment actually when I was writing it that I suddenly thought to myself, oh, I think this time I might have actually bitten off more than I can chew. And so I had a very, very long heart-to-heart with my editor about it. And he sort of calmed me down and he said, no, go back and, just keep going. I wanted to do it because I wanted to do a sort of a book about a big topic. And, I've written some books in the past about the history of understanding the sun and the Victorian astronomers that sort of discovered solar flares and the solar storms and things like that. And I've done books about looking for other planets around stars and what are the problems with modern cosmology and what do we think we know about the universe. But I'd never done something that encompassed the broad sweep of sort of human history and how we're fascinated and explore that fascination with the night sky. So I thought this was, I was sort of old enough and wise enough, I thought, to tackle a really big subject. Yeah, and it nearly killed me, but we're here.
Ooh, yeah, I know that feeling. Now, I just had a scan through your chapters, and one of them, which really caught my eye, was about the invention of heaven.
Absolutely.
I remember seeing anyone invent it on Dragon's Den, so I assume it goes a little bit back before that.
So, it does indeed. And this is one of the fascinating things that I discovered because I've always been fascinated by the night sky, and I've always come at it from a scientific point of view, that I've wanted to understand the celestial objects, what they are, and what we can know about. And in eons past, of course, scientific investigation was not open to those people, but they still had the same questions and the same curiosity. And so what I discovered in my research for the book was that there are two interweaving strands throughout all human history, and that is the use of the night sky in a kind of practical way for timekeeping and navigation, and the looking at the night sky from a what is it, what does it mean point of view. And then there's a sort of a joint strand that runs as well, where people enchant the night sky. They look at it and they feel, as we all do, I think, we all look up at the stars and they're serenely beautiful. It's, it's the most awesome thing that you can see. A real sublime feeling of sort of being under this vast heaven that's much, or this vast night sky that's much bigger than we are. And they derived meaning from that and tried to explain why they felt in these emotional ways about it. And so gradually they started to move their gods up into the heavens. And the gods began as ways to try to explain the forces of nature. So wind, rain, all those kinds of things. If light and heat come from the sun, then they can imagine sort of a consciousness and an entity and a sun god. So they thought that all the other forces of nature were sort of physical manifestations of supernatural beings. And so that's what I explore in that chapter about the invention of heaven, and how gradually over the course of thousands of years, we culturally developed this idea that that heaven is associated with the night sky, and that some eternal part of us goes there when we die.
Oh, That's a beautiful answer, and I was getting quite carried away then with images of the stars. We're really wishing I could see some. Do you like my backdrop? Oh, you can't
I
see
think
it.
your backdrop is. Well, I saw it earlier, and I think your backdrop is absolutely fantastic. You see, if I'd had anything about me whatsoever, that's the backdrop I would have organised for our interview tonight.
Well, I bought it cheap off Amazon, Stuart, and I think it won't take you long to try and figure out what's wrong with it. First of all, it's riddled with spelling mistakes. But second of all, I mean, if you're watching this in Australia, this is going to be just grand, but I don't think the large Magellan cloud is anything that we can see here. So we've got southern hemisphere stars, and what we think is probably a northern hemisphere moon behind the stars. So it's all a real mismatch of.
But it works as a piece of art.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you for explaining these. You're making me really want to read the book. I mean, what was the most surprising thing that you discovered whilst researching the book then?
Yeah, there's a lot of surprises about it. One thing that kind of really made me sort of stand up almost. It was like one of those, moments was that I finally understood where we get the phrase "the dog days of summer" from.
Okay.
Now, this is a phrase that's used to talk about the hottest days of summer, and it comes from ancient Egypt, and it derives from the stars. So, in ancient Egypt, Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, it's mostly visible throughout the year, but there's a couple of months when it's not visible. And it just so happens that Sirius returns to the sky, it used to return to the sky in those days from ancient Egypt in the summer months, just when things were getting really, really hot. And so they thought that obviously, heat and light comes from the sun. Now the brightest star in the sky is above the horizon, and summer reaches its hottest. And so they thought this extra heat was coming from Sirius. And because Sirius is in the constellation of Canis Major, the great dog, that's what they called the dog days of summer. And so we still have that with us today. And the more I researched the book, and they're all in there, the more I realized we forget how much of our nomenclature and how much of our concepts and our cultural metaphors, even our descriptions of people's personalities, it all comes from our words and phrases and descriptions that we use for the night sky.
Oh my word, right. I definitely need to read this book because it'll make me just the most exciting, interesting person, not only at my astronomy club, but also in the pub quiz as well.
That came from the night sky. That came from the night sky. You'll be that person.
I will be. Oh, excellent. So what's your best memory of being beneath a starry night sky, Stuart? Moving away from the book slightly.
Yeah, sure. And this was when I was a graduate student, and I was sent on an observing trip, my first time to a professional observatory, and it was the Anglo-Australian telescope. So it was in the Warrumbungles National Park, just miles away from any city or anywhere, really truly dark. And so it's just the southern hemisphere, a truly dark place. I felt for the first time as if I really was an astronomer, and I stood out under the stars of the southern hemisphere from this site, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There were so many stars, they were so bright, and I had this extraordinary feeling, this almost epiphany, if you like, that happened within me, which I've never ever forgotten. And it was that, I knew that those stars were hundreds of light years away. I knew that they're, great big nuclear fusion furnaces, light years away in space. And yet another part of my brain was saying, they're so close. Just reach up and grab one. you could do that. Just the physical urge to sort of reach up for one of those stars was almost overpowering. And it was almost like this extraordinary feeling of just being simultaneously incredibly tiny and part of this vast universe, but also intimately connected with it. And I wondered at that point as well whether that was the kind of feeling that had led people to believe in sort of religious interpretations of the night sky and putting heaven up there.
Well, I'm loving your voice, actually. It's very soothing and very inspirational. Is there an audio version of the book?
There is an audio version of the book.
Yes.
And
is it on Audible?
Yes, it's coming out on October the 13th. I recorded it a couple of weeks ago, so it took me 3 days to read through it without any mistakes. I kept having to go back and keep doing retakes.
I've got 3 Audible credits, so I'm going to use one on your book.
Do it.
That's great. Let's have a quick look at some of the comments. Well, Paul Sutherland. Now, he's told me to watch a Philomena Kunk interview, and I've not watched it. What? Apparently, you've been two-timing me. So what is this, please?
Sorry about that. Yeah, it was Charlie Brooker's program. Was it called Screen Wipe? And Diane Moore was doing this parody of sort of science programs, and she was her Philomena Kunk character, and she did these things called moments of wonder, and so I was the scientist explaining time to her, and she wasn't getting it at all, and it was just one of the funniest things I've ever done. It was just I mean, she's absolutely brilliant, almost as good as you, Vicky.
I was about to say I need to up my game, but thank you. You say all the right things. Simon, whose surname I don't know how to pronounce, every week. Is there a plan for a 2021 European Astrofest, Stuart?
Yes, there is. And so we're just discussing the plans at the moment. We're going to be restricted in what we can do, we think, by the pandemic. But we are already discussing ways to work within those restrictions and, in fact, make this bigger, make Astrofest next year bigger and better than ever. So all the restrictions we're going to turn into advantages. So watch this space. We are talking about it at the moment. It is going to be really good.
I've never been to an Astrofest, so that's going to be me in premium astronomer bothering mode. Lock up your astronomers. That's all I'm going to say.
John, very well.
Thank you. John has just purchased your book through the Guardian Bookshop. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you, John.
Lovely. And Paulina says, can she buy the book on Amazon?
Absolutely, Paulina. Yes, you can.
Please go and buy Stuart's book, what's it called? Sorry, Beneath the Night Sky.
Beneath the Night.
Beneath the Night. Sorry. Please go and buy the book. Multiple copies. Help Stuart. He's got to pay for his guitars somehow.
Yeah, that's very true. Look, there they are. Yes.
Mr. Sutherland says, can you play Astronomy Domine on his axe? What I'd like to know was Paul at that concert where I did play it? Is that how he knows about it? I can't remember. It was that gig was all a bit of a blur, but yeah, Pink Floyd's Astronomy Domine. Yes, that's been known to loosen a few fillings every now and again in my audience. Oh, Alice is saying, oh my gosh, Vicky, get yourself to Astrofest. It's always been in London and I'm not in London, so... Great. Now, a little music trivia for you. I don't know whether you saw this before, but I was reading out some lyrics. Stuart, come a little bit closer. Hear what I have to say. Just like children sleeping, we could dream this night away. But there's a full moon rising. Let's go dancing in the light. We know where the music's playing. Let's go out and feel the night. Because I'm still in love with you. I want to see you dance again. Because I'm still in love with you. What's the next line?
Don't know.
On this harvest moon. It's Harvest Moon, isn't it? Neil Young.
Should have known.
You've just lost all of your credentials, I'm afraid, Stuart. You'll have to start from scratch.
I know. I'm so sorry. I can feel the weight of the disappointment, actually.
Did you get to see the moon last night?
I did. I had a quick. I always keep having a sort of a quick look whenever I can. So it's one of those perennial, fascinations. Whenever it's a clear night, and I notice, I always spend some time just looking. And for me, it's mostly naked eye. I used to use the telescopes when I was at the University of Hertfordshire an awful lot. But there's some enduring beauty for me about just viewing with the naked eye, just watching the planets move night after night. I mean, Venus earlier this year, I was transfixed, every evening. It's
so
looking.
Good. Best part of Venus moving through the sky throughout lockdown, and Dave Eagle's amazing pictures were the highlight of lockdown for me. Stuart, I love your voice. I can't wait to have you on my Audible. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Your book is available now. One more plug, please.
Thank you very much. One more plug. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Available now. Okay, thank you so much, Stuart.
Very well.
Fail with the Harvest Moon lyrics, but yeah, it would be wonderful to have you on when you've bent your head writing your next book.
That might be a little while yet. So, but anytime you want, just bother me.
Oh, now we're talking. I'll see you later. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. There we go. So now we know who invented heaven. And we've had a great look at Stuart's new book. Thank you very much to Mike Simmons, founder of Astronomers Without Borders, and Alice Sheppard, SPA Citizen Science Officer, for sending me some goodies, which apparently I sent her a couple of years ago. But we forget these things, don't we? Please share this video. If you are not a member of the SPA, consider joining. We are the UK's National Astronomy Society. It's £23 a year. Excellent value. You get beautiful magazines every couple of months. Vicky, you can still keep your title of Astronomer Botherer Royal, but good grief, I've just been recognized as top fan of the Society for Popular Astronomy. Thank you so much. Maybe you could be a Vicky video botherer, Jerry. I need a botherer, actually. Please feel free to bother me. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. It has been a really good show, and I forgot. I think my internet's fixed. As you will know, if you have followed my tribulations over the past 4 or 5 months, every single time I've done this show, I've had a nightmare with my internet, give or take maybe 1 or 2. And it makes life really stressful because it means I can't concentrate on my guests. It makes, I'm sure it's turning my hair grey. Look. I'm graying at the temples for sure, more since I've started doing this show. And we've come down to this new place. I've done 3 shows from here and they've all been a bit patchy and bobbins. And last night we came down here for another test and found a secret plug hole to plug the cable in the very last corner, in the very last place, literally the very last option I had before having to go and rent somewhere out. Thank you very much. Great show. Thank you very much, Steve, and Azor as well. Thank you so much. But I think my internet connection is stable, which means I can actually sleep safe at night now, and also watch back the replays. So please share this video. It's available for replay. You might want to watch it a couple of times. Share it with your astronomy friends. Like, tag, share. Spread the word of the SPA. Vicky's got new internet and she is happy. Thanks for organising this. I thought we had invented heaven. It's been very smooth tonight. Yeah! Smooth internet. Good night, everybody. I will see you in the stars. Definitely needs to be my new sign-off line. Bye.